Can I ask you what you're doing in this area, please?
Can I ask you what you're doing in this area, please? None of your business! So, welcome back, everyone, to the Justice Spectrum. I was pondering who to do for my second video. Being very pleased with the response of my first video, so thank you very much to those who have watched. Thank you to Mr. Inbetween for allowing me to use his video and his footage, and thank you for the comment, my friend. I really appreciate it. Now, Mr. Inbetween refers to this next chap who I'm going to talk about as the best auditor, photographer, independent journalist. All those names can be thrown around, that he is not one of these, if not all of these. I've decided to start this halfway through because there's a particular interaction that I'm interested in, and the other ones are fairly okay. But this one particular one, after he speaks to the security, who I'm not going to show, but if you go and watch the full video on his channel, link in the description, he has a good interaction with the security. The guy comes over and talks about health and safety. Nothing wrong with that. I completely understand that. That's perfectly fine and reasonable to understand that a guy would want to come and check just to make sure things are okay, things are safe, especially if focus is flying a drone. In this video, he is. This officer is an absolute tool. He is a complete and utter disgrace to the uniform that he wears. He clearly has nothing else to do with his time because he clearly enjoys wasting taxpayers' money on something like this. And as I said in the first video, there was an argument at Scotland Yard that someone apparently had overheard where the commissioner or someone high in the police is getting fed up with all the civil claims that are going on his desk. Now, this isn't necessarily the Met Police, but it's the same thing, isn't it? It's you know, it's the same. You've got to look at it in the same kind of context. The police are getting all these civil claims all the time. All the time they're getting civil claims. And 9 times out of 10, they are losing. You are losing, police. You are using Section 43 of the Terrorism Act, where you have to have reasonable grounds to suspect someone's a terrorist. You're using Section 50. You're using Section 1 of PACE to search people. And you often, for me, you'd find nothing, correct? Which is why these civil claims are often upheld in the person who's suing you. For me, personally, I believe that if an officer is taken to court in a civil claim, he should pay for the civil claim out of his own pocket. Because the police often say, oh, you can sue, it's fine. It's fine. And do you know why they say that? They say that because it doesn't come out of their bloody pocket. It doesn't come out of their wages. It doesn't come out of their, bank account. It's not taken away from food on their family's table. It's taken away from the food on the table for the public who pay their wages. Now, the police will say to you, well, I pay taxes, so I pay my own wages. Okay, yes, you pay taxes, but who do you think pays your taxes? Do you think it's you, or do you think it's us? Because we pay you and you then pay your taxes, which in sense, we pay our own taxes and pay your fucking taxes. So before you start going off all on this absolute nonsense and BS of saying we pay our own taxes, okay, yeah, I will agree with that up to that one point. However, you then use our money, the public's money, to pay your own bills. So we pay for our bills and for your fucking bills. So whether you guys like it or not, and whether or not you believe this or not, you are public servants. You're not crown servants. The crown don't pay you. You are public servants. You're in the realm of public service. Fire, police, ambulance, NHS, whatever, you're all in the public service. You all provide a service. If we call you, you come and help. Yeah? If we call the fire brigade, they come and help. If we call an ambulance, they come and help. If you call the police, 9 times out of 10, you're not going to get help. In this current climate that we've got right now, you're either going to get attacked, you're going to get threatened, you're going to get arrested, you're going to get searched, you're going to get assaulted, you're going to get anything other than help. You're not going to get help because often it doesn't come in the range of help. The police don't know, for example, how to deal with mental health. They have zero idea. But often what they will say to people is that those people who may not want to talk to you may go quiet or go silent. Are you okay? Do you need medical help? Oh, is this guy suffering from some sort of medical episode? Is he suffering from some sort of mental health condition? Are you guys mental health professionals? Are you guys trained in mental health? Are you guys trained doctors? Because often I see people and police say, well, I have to determine if someone's got the mental capacity. Yes, you have to, in certain circumstances, decide whether or not someone is able or is a danger to themselves or others. But after that, you take them to the ones who can provide that help to get them treated. You're not there to say that you know if someone is suffering from a mental health condition. Maybe they're mute. Maybe they don't want to talk to you. Maybe there's all sorts of reasons why they don't want to say anything to you. It could be a number of reasons. Let's have a look at this video.
Have you had it up in the air, have you?
Yeah.
Yeah. What have you been, I think they were a bit worried about the, obviously with inland
Doesn't matter.
security.
Doesn't matter.
Right, okay. Why is that?
Well, it doesn't matter that they're concerned because doesn't trump my rights to fly over there.
Okay. Right, okay.
So the fact that they've reported it is probably the same as we've had a guy cycling past on his bike report, as far as I'm concerned.
Okay, all right, no worries.
You all right with that?
Well, we'll establish some details and then we'll go from there. Okay.
Will you? Okay.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Okay. Are you going to provide your name, or if I ask?
Why would you want that?
What?
You've been doing nothing unlawful.
Okay. Well, we're going to establish that, aren't we?
You're going to establish whether or not he's done something unlawful. So let me ask you this question. What would his details tell you if he's doing something illegal or not? What could his name tell you? What could his address tell you? What could his date of birth tell you? Is it going to say in those details, oh, alongside in brackets, oh, this is why he's doing this, A, B, and C? See, I agree with Mr. In Between that there is a mental health crisis going on within the police. NPD, narcissistic personality disorder. I'm not a mental health professional. I do suffer from mental health, so I know about my own conditions, I understand them, and my work outside this is that I train people to understand autism, learning disabilities, and doing training associated with that. But I don't know what Focus's details here could possibly tell these officers. There's nothing it could tell. Oh, we'll establish some details to make sure you're not doing anything wrong. It won't tell you anything. It won't tell you a thing. All it will tell you is what his name is, where he lives, and whatever. And then you can, just have an excuse to see, oh, has this man got any warrants? Or why would he want to give us our details? Then he must be doing something wrong. No, I'll tell you why he doesn't want to give you his details. Because we don't have to. You're not automatically entitled to our details. You're not. And if you think you are entitled, then you need to get a reality check. You need to go and actually look up human rights, what the law is, and what we are legally obligated to give you. If you suspect us of committing a crime, or you see us in the process of committing a crime, then yes, you are allowed to establish details. But someone who is just flying a drone from public property, and the security have already said that they're fine with it, you have no reason to be here. This is why there are civil claims. This is why the people at the higher end of the police are sending memos to all officers telling you guys to leave photographers alone. Leave them alone. You're draining resources by coming out for this absolute ridiculousness. There's no reason for you to come out. You could just get back in your car and go and find some actual crime to solve. Like maybe, you know, the robbery that went on down the road last week that you have only given a crime reference number to the person, or the grandma or granddad who got robbed 6 weeks ago, which you haven't bothered to go round yet because you're wasting money and resources on shit like this. I believe that when the police do this type of action and they waste money, they waste resources, they waste time, it should be billed to them. They should have a percentage of their wages cut out. It should be based on what their offence is. So if you come out for something that isn't worth it, and you have no reason to be there, and you are there for a lot longer than you should be, then 25% should come out, for an example. If you then abuse your powers, it should be 50%, maybe to 75% of your wages cut. If it's something more egregious, like an assault, it should be all of your wages for that month cut. And that should go to your victim. The police are so used to doing things like this and getting away with anything, everything. They think that uniform gives them a reason to abuse, to assault, to insult, to commit numerous amount of crimes. There are so many officers at the moment that have gone to prison for all nature of crimes. One in particular that I can't mention on YouTube, it begins with R. I think you can fill in the rest. But there have been numerous police who have gone to prison for those offences, the most egregious offences, when they are in positions of trust, where they are interviewing and helping and supporting victims of crime. And they use the opportunity to abuse, to harass, and to turn around what happened on the victim. For example, I know there have been incidents where the police have said to the victim, what did you do to deserve what he did to you? When they, for example, are a victim of the R word or SA. I'm not going to say that name out loud for YouTube reasons. What did you do that made him do that? What did you say to him to make him do that? It doesn't matter what they said. It doesn't matter what she may have said or what they did. What matters is they are a victim of crime. How dare you even go down that road of saying, well, did you say anything that got you hurt? That's not what your job involves. Your job is to solve the crime that has been reported to you. This is why people don't go to the police anymore. This is why people don't report crimes. This is why I, for one, don't like the police. I have my own reasons why I don't like police. But all this two-tier policing and all this way they treat people, I would never go to you guys if I was in need of help. If I was assaulted on the street, there's no way I'd ring you up and ask for assistance. Because you'd come out and most likely would say, well, did you say anything that got you hurt? Did you say anything that made him decide to hit you? No. Well, you must have said something. Now, you give me your details. And all the while, I'll let the person who assaulted you go. And if I then refuse, well, if you're going to refuse, then I'm going to take you to the station. What for? I'm the victim. I'm the one that called you. I had an incident once where a guy who I know assaulted me outside my local train station. And instead of the police arresting this man, they let him go. After I made a citizen's arrest. After they had a witness who said the man attacked me first. Let's carry on. See what happens.
Okay, well you crack on then and I'll be here for when you're finished.
Right, okay.
Alright.
Okay, 2 seconds.
Can I ask you, are you recording me?
I am, yeah.
Can I ask you why you didn't tell me?
We always activate our body camera. I'll inform you now, I'm recording.
Okay, because it's your policy, the first practicable time that you inform me.
Okay. Well, I'm informing you now.
Good.
I'm recording.
Yeah, but he needed a prompt though, didn't it?
Well, I'm informing you that we're recording now.
Good man.
It's not to say that he wasn't going to tell you, was it?
No, but it says
No.
at the first practicable time, and I would
Yeah,
imagine
but
when
we-
you get out of your
We
car.
want to talk to you first, don't we?
Yeah, but when you get out of the car, that's
Yeah.
probably the best time, isn't it?
Probably not the best
So I
time
know.
now. I would
Well, it is-
establish threat with the person first of all.
It is for me.
And also speak to the person.
Okay.
Is there any particular reason you've been quite difficult with us tonight?
So, first of all, they have to tell you if they're recording. It's not about whether this guy on the right thinks that, oh, you know, it's not always practical. No. You don't have a choice in the matter. You are data handlers. We are data subjects. You are required under data protection to inform the person you're recording at the first practical time. The first practical time is when you first walk up to the person, unless you're going into a situation where you have to make false entry. That is an exception. But when you're in a situation like this, at the first practical time, you would do it. Would be, hello, sir. Just so you know, I'm recording, and then you would identify yourself. That is the first practical time. This guy on the right who says, is there any reason why you're being quite difficult? Difficult about what? What is he being difficult about, public servant? What is he being difficult about? Is it because he's not surrendering his details to you and you're so triggered by that because you want his details so badly you can't just go, okay, all right, sir, you don't have to give us your details. That's fine. We understand that. But we still have to talk to you to make sure that things are okay. That would be fine. That would be fine. But instead, this complete cretin on the right decides to be a little bit offensive and rude and patronising. Is there any reason why you're being difficult with us today? What's he being difficult with? What, because he's not doing what you want? He's not doing as you're telling him to. He's not being a good little focus pocus and doing as he's told because you told him. Are you his dad? Are you his parent? Are you in any way someone who he has to listen to unless he's committed a crime? Let me say this. First of all, until we break the law, you're not in authority over us. You're not. You're not. Plain and simple. You're not in any type of authority at all. All right? No way. So, while you think that he's being difficult, he's just standing up for his rights, which is completely within his rights to do. And you swore an oath to uphold the king's peace and human rights, fundamental human rights. I think a lot of these police forget their oath and forget who they work for. They always will work for us. We will never work for them. We will never work for the police, ever. It will never happen. It will never, ever happen. We will never work for the police. They have and always will work for us.
Can I ask you what
Right.
you're doing in this area, please?
Can I ask you what you're doing in this area, please? None of your business. What are you doing in this area other than just harassing someone on the street? He is in a public area, public street. He is allowed to be there. There could be so many crimes going on, maybe in town, that you could be dealing with right now. Instead, you're wasting tax money by doing this bullshit. And it's so demoralising that this is where our police have sunk to. This is the low point. This is the low point. It's going to get lower, but this is one of the worst officers I've ever seen. The way he's standing there with his arms folded, like, well, you know, is there any reason why you're being difficult with us? Is there any reason why you're not, you know, telling us what you're doing here? What are you doing in this area? Can you count for us? Can you count for what you're doing? Is this Nazi Germany, mate? Do we have to account to you what we're doing? Do we have to show you what we're doing? Oh, to be here, you must show us reason and your information why you're here. We don't live in Nazi Germany, mate. We don't live in a dictatorship. We live in a democracy. We are a free country. We have rights that you swore to uphold.
What do you think?
Well, you've got a drone with you, you've got a camera.
Okay,
Can I ask you what you're doing, please?
So what are you doing in this area? What do you think? Well, you've got a drone and you've got a camera. Oh, well done. Give the man a round of applause. Well, what do you think he's doing? Is he standing there? Is he sitting on a bench with his thumb up his arse doing fuck all? No, he's got a drone and a camera. Now, to the person who isn't currently have his brain tagging out his fucking head, to a normal average person, they would think, oh, he's flying a drone and he's filming. But to an officer, well, what are you doing? I've got a camera. Okay, so what are you doing? I've got a camera. Okay, so what are you doing? Literal. I don't think this is MPD in the police. I think there is a thing that I call brain extraction. This officer clearly has had the brain taken out his head. It's put in a fucking on ice until he leaves the police. Because there is nothing in between these fucking ears. There's nothing in there at all. Maybe a shriveled up prune at best. But the fact you have to say, well, you've got a camera and a drone, what are you doing? Do you know what? If this was me, I'd be like, well, what do you think I'm doing? What would a camera and a drone suggest? Or are you going to ask me silly questions that you're not, because you're not, what's the word I'm looking for? You're not happy with my first answer that I give you.
Well, what do you think if you see that?
No, I'm asking
and you've
you
had a
the
report?
question. It doesn't work like that.
Listen.
So it doesn't work like that. I'm asking you the question. Actually, it does work like that. It does work like that. You don't say how things work. You don't say how our rights work. You don't say how the law works. You are only there to uphold the law. Oh, and you break it as well. Let's just add that in. You also break the law as well. You guys pride yourselves on breaking the law. This is another thing as well. I said this in my first video. Only the police can commit an offence and get away with it. In the fire brigade, you can't do that. If you're a doctor in the NHS, you can't do that. If you're an ambulance driver, you can't do that. No other profession anywhere allows you to commit a crime and walk away scot-free. But if you're an officer and you're in the police, you can assault people, you can kidnap people, you can threaten people, you can break down their doors without reason, you can do anything you want, and only in the police can you then walk away. Because the police, when they are given a complaint, they investigate themselves. And what normally happens when you investigate yourself? Nothing wrong. We did nothing wrong. Our officers acted fine. There should be an independent review on these cases, not the police. It should be an independent review. There should be a member of the local council. There should be a member of a few members of the local community. There should be maybe one senior officer who is being vetted and is trustworthy. Not the fact that there's many in the police that are trustworthy anymore. There should be maybe a member of the fire brigade, a member of the ambulance service, depending on what the situation is. And they should be the ones who independently review these cases of misconduct in the police. Because I'm telling you, if they looked at it and independently reviewed it, they would recommend that officer, probably, most likely, it could well be recommended, this officer was wrong. This officer, we believe, committed an assault on this member of the public. We recommend common assault charges on the officer. And then the CPS then do their due diligence, because they are also public servants, and they then serve charges and serve court proceedings on that officer. And the officer should go to court and face charges. Probably a magistrate, I think, is better. And if not, either in front of a jury of your peers or a judge decides. But this is why civil cases get looked at and they are won by the person claiming. Because they determine that the police are wrong. And even when the police are proven to be wrong, they don't learn. The lessons are not being learned. The lessons are not being driven into the brains of these officers, because the next time they still go out and they still do it. So if you see the look on his face, mind your own business. Yeah, mind your own fucking business. You're not entitled to anything that we do. You're not that uniform, that clown outfit, that fancy dress costume, and some people that gang outfit. And I believe they're a gang now. They're not a service. When you see the thin blue line flag on their chest, that is the thin blue line gang. And I believe that I believe, this is my personal belief, that they are the biggest gang in the UK, the biggest organised gang, because they get away with so much and nothing gets done. And when it is sent to court, it often is in a private capacity, and normally they get off. I've only seen a few cases in the last number of years where police have actually been found guilty, not including the really wrong uns that have gone to prison, but lesser crimes like assault or theft, or when you see police that have been looking through a family home and they've robbed an elderly gentleman that might have died. That happened once, I think, over in America. It's the same kind of thing. Police have stolen from people's houses. Police have done that before. I saw a case, I think it was last year at some point. I can't remember what it was, but this officer went around to this person's house and stole money out the safe. And he got sent to prison for it. And there is an act of parliament that protects us from these type of police. It's called Criminal Courts and Justice Act 2015, Section 26. Improper use of your police powers and privileges. And you don't ever see an officer getting charged with that. You don't. It doesn't happen. They don't get charged with that offence, because it's never brought on them. It's never put forward that offence. They're never charged with that, and they should be. They should be. If the police are taken to court and they are criminally charged, they should also have Section 26 applied to them if they abuse their powers, which 9 times out of 10 they do.
Mind your own business. It's nothing to do with you.
Well, it is something to do with me. We've had a report of a suspicious
Well, then go and
male
deal with the people.
flying a drone over this
Listen,
area. Yeah.
is that the best that you've got?
We found
suspicious
you with the
male.
drone. You admitted you've flown
You
the
found
drone.
me with the
Yeah.
drone.
So I'm asking you, what were your intentions? What were you doing?
So he thinks he's entitled to know what Focus is doing. Well, it is something to do with me. No, it's not. It's none of your business. We've had support reports of a suspicious